That was all CO2. When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Then catch E. coli from said lemonade because life is a bitch and wants to see you suffer. And to say the least, suffer I did. I found a Balenciaga Branded Oculus Quest. What the fuck even? Well, of course that isn't just it, you know, you've read the title, so I'll just get straight to business.
Balenciaga was founded in 1917 by Spanish Basque designer Cristobal Balenciaga. Back in the day, people would literally be clambering across World War II battlefields to go and see his magnificent boutiques. With his signature high fashion designs and modernistic visions, he was regarded by many 20th century fashion designers as the master of them all. Which is fucking ironic today that his icon of a company from back then is now a bitch of keyring who owns pretty much all the big names in European fashion, and today is turning super advanced, high-end virtual reality devices into perfectly functional e-waste bricks.
Damn, everyone in those air raid shelters must be so disappointed. I mean, they're not even pioneering the next generation of clout Google technology like they oh so hoped they would. All joking aside, this all started with me finding this jarring combination of terminology on eBay for just £150 while I was looking for an OG Quest to use with Airlink. I'd been looking for a while, and after many declined offers, I came across this, and immediately realised the importance of this discovery. This could allow me to make the most stupid flex of all time.
Hey, what are those?
And I would do absolutely anything I could to get it. Not only that, but it was an amazing video idea, where I'd start off unpackaging the actual box with the Balenciaga logo front and center. But of course then I'd drag out the reveal of the as of yet unrevealed headset and go over the history of the show it came from, all while making fun of all the stupid and strange little things I find along the way. Then at the end I'd cut back to me finally opening the box and act all angry that I find it's just a regular Quest in there, and that it's not chrome plated in angel semen or something. That should have been all there was to it. But the powers that be subsequently decided that wasn't funny monkey and decided to instead fuck up my entire month. The first thing that went wrong wasn't directly because of the Quest, but more of a drop of irony that stain will never leave my memory. I placed my offer on the Balenciaga Quest, and a day or so later I got a message through eBay from someone who I thought was the seller. The message said that someone had bid on the headset, which made my offer invalid, but that they hadn't ended up paying. They then asked me if I'd like them to put it back up again so they can accept me this time, and so I immediately said yes. Then to the beat of the drum of this Shakespearean comedy of errors, not 2 minutes later I would get a notification of the actual dealer of the accepting my offer. And I thought the offer didn't even exist in the first place, so fuck. Turns out that this message was from an earlier, different Quest seller. I knew I had no obligation to actually buy the headset, as I'd only really said I'd do so, but I managed to pass that offer onto a friend who was actually looking for a VR headset at the time. So he bought it, it arrived next day, and worked completely fine out of the box. Woe is me. So, then the scuff starts. The postage is a week late, so I asked the seller for the tracking information so I can, you know, see if eBay is just making a wrong estimation or something, to which I then get a reply. Hey, I haven't posted it yet as I've been at school, but as soon as I do, I will send it to you, I'm sorry. Okay, seems good to me. When I was vetting the seller, the page looked like it was from someone young. Just as I expected. Kiss. I'm honestly not sure what I expected from someone who was also selling size 5 Nike Air Force 1s, but there we go, I guess. You know, straight to jail. The listing had some minor red flags, like a lack of device specs and an interesting manner of titling.
Yeah, let me read it off real quick. Balenciaga Oculus Quest. Only a couple made for their fashion show.
Despite that, because I was right in the assumption that they were young and new to eBay, I decided to let it slide and wait for a week. And it actually arrived. What was I talking about again? Fuck it. Play the intro.
Hey guys, welcome to the video of Penguin. Today guys, I ordered a package of the 3 AM web at dark o'clock, and I have bought a Balenciaga. Oh my god, a Balenciaga Oculus Quest off of the interweb eBay 3 AM with the app. Oh my god, guys, I wonder what's inside.
And that's just how well everything was going, more or less. Until I actually went to test the headset, to which I saw this.
After asking the seller for the pin and finding out that they didn't have it, I turned to trying to wipe the thing instead. Essentially, the headset needed a factory reset, which the seller should have done, but whatever. But when I went to do it myself, the tutorial I found said to hold both of the volume buttons and the power button together, when it was actually supposed to be just the one volume button and the power button. So instead of rebooting into the right menu, it would just shut off and take an age to boot back up again. During which I would have promptly filled my fucking pants with anxious shit 3 times over, only to realise that nothing had actually happened when it turned back on. This issue only lasted about a day, because I had found an actual tutorial, not written by people who can't dress themselves. So the whole thing was essentially my fault, but not because I say so, but the headset was unlocked either way. But if you thought that's where it ends, well, I'm disappointed in you. This is when we get to the mega BS. I pair the freshly wiped headset to my phone, set up Oculus and log in, then boot into it to explore the capabilities of the Quest ecosystem, to which I'm instead met with this.
What? What the fuck is this? Into an app on boot? Balenciaga Fall 21? Wait, where's the leave button? Where are my settings? What? Why can't I access anything? Keyring? Keyring? You motherfucker.
I literally can't get a single win here. In fact, what is an letter W? Okay, so we've got one single clinging app on this thing that will not let me leave it or get rid of it, no way to install any other apps or access any other features, and an admin mode, which is the biggest lie next to Promises by Facebook. Yes, just how we Britons like it. So the herpes app here before us is the Balenciaga Fall 21 Fashion Expo, which is Balenciaga's virtual neo-retro futurism fashion boutique from October 2020 that was first presented in VR. Or what it is according to my tainted experience is a very long, very low resolution 360-degree video that's in the way of my gamer urges. Essentially it's an experience consisting of some models walking down a dimly lit catwalk amongst a crowd of gormless and quite honestly creepy NPCs. After that, when I go into the menu, literally everything else I look at is completely locked out unless I enable admin mode, which amongst unlocking precious few other things, will also afford you luxuries like being able to cast your VR view to compatible display devices, or let you screen record your thrilling Google Cardboard-like experience and then revoke your right to play it back, or interact with it in any way, other than deleting it. Then we come on to another rare wasn't in the listing factoid, which is that this is the 128GB version of the original Quest, the top-end model. And it turns out the venereal disease that is on this headset from birth takes up a whopping 16GB of that. So even if you wanted to, you couldn't fill that space with anything other than inaccessible hours of wannabe Death Stranding. So essentially this here is a digital e-waste meter that shows how much of the thing is junk, in 2 shades of grey. But if you were listening to everything I was saying up until now, you know that I've already factory reset the device and this is all still here. So that means all of this shit is literally part of the OS, and every time I try to factory reset it in an attempt to wipe the device, it rebuilds the Oculus ecosystem with, as I call it, bullshit.fuckyou pre-configured. And no, sideloading a consumer version of Oculus onto this thing doesn't work. Fucking step 1 of that process is a no-go, because even with an Oculus developer account, it completely refuses to go into developer mode. That's because this version of Oculus that's on the headset is the business version, and that doesn't have any access to the features of the consumer version pretty much at all. Along with also, as you've seen, having pretty much everything be locked down for demonstration purposes, somewhat like a certain animal testing facility. Of course, the business account that this headset is tied to is the Kieran Group's one, which explains why the Balenciaga Cardboard app was still able to plague the caverns of this device's empty storage even after factory reset. So in this state, I literally can't use anything but what's on the device already. And it's comical how little there is. I tried my hand at contacting Oculus to see if they had anything that they could do to free this Quest from its corporate shackles, but all I got was condolences and instructions to instead go and talk to Balenciaga & Co directly, because they were technically responsible for the headset and the customer service associated. So I did, and discovered that they have the worst customer support system in the history of medieval torture devices. Like, it's so bad that it doesn't even let you know that your email has been registered. No confirmation email, nothing. 3 days after my last attempt at contact, Balenciaga's supposed 24-hour response time was long gone, their AirPod syndrome seeming to be at an all-time high.
It's a peasant!
So unfortunately, because of this, I had to return the remarkably useless Quest to the seller. The seller actually wasn't that bad in this situation here. Although they were the cause of a significant amount of the brain curdling that went on, they actually kept in contact with me since day one, trying to resolve the issue, profusely apologising and even offering a refund before I'd even given up on fixing the thing. But during this back and forth, I actually learned a lot more about where this headset had come from. Like how the headset was from the Balenciaga Full 21 show, but how it had arrived in the hands of the seller was through a family friend who had attended. And sadly, because of that, any useful information regarding the headset was akin to that of an old Celtic myth spoken in forgotten tongues. Well, the customer service was very proactive to say the least, but people, please, describe your eBay listings properly. It felt like buying a fireman costume for Halloween, only to find on arrival that it's the inconceivably irradiated bunker gear of the Chernobyl first responders.
3.6, not great, not terrible.
So after all of that, I got the thing packed back up, taken down to the post office and sent off with the promise of my shekels back.
Get the fuck out of his house.
But then again, to the beat of the drum of this Shakespearean comedy of errors, I had just barely arrived back and sat down at my desk to the sound of an email notification from Balenciaga support. Oh, if you're thinking it was useful, then you're dead wrong. The generous Felipe from Balenciaga client service was unknowingly there to commit oof squared to my poor psyche, by first making me think I threw away my last chance at fixing and keeping the headset for myself with a notification, and then upon opening the email I would essentially just get a massive middle finger to the face, telling me that if Balenciaga isn't using it, nobody can. Which raises the question whether the family friend just up and walked out of there and nobody stopped them, or they were just particularly inspired by a certain Xbox Game Pass title. So after having every step of this eBay purchase fuck up in some spectacularly stupid way, I'm slapped in the face by the garlicky French donger of the keyring group in the end after all. Seriously now, from literally throwing away my chances at a functional quest right at the start for a drop of meme potential and a video, to then having the busy industry, the Zoom PE classes delay my fucking e-creature clout goggles for a week, and then when I finally receive them, they're locked by a feature that seemingly no one else has seen on the Quest before, and even after that, Kieran and Balenciaga rear their divinely dense noses above the surface of the seas of the cash in which they swim, and promptly tell me to fuck off because the headsets, from what I can tell, are literally not and are never going to be used again by them. So essentially, of course, by any logical standard, they're designed to have 90% of their 128GB of storage rendered entirely useless, all to reduce them to massively glorified 360-degree video players. Like, it's not even the good kind of 360-degree video, come on man, it's not even pornography. It staggers me why they didn't bother just to go with some fucking Oculus Go's or something. The exact capabilities they're looking for. But apparently they thought instead, Oculus no. Okay, that joke was awful, I'm sorry. And on that note, of course, I'm just memeing here. I have no bad blood with the seller or Balenciaga or Keyring for that matter. Particularly with the eBay seller, I've been in the scary situation of my first expensive eBay sale as well, so I know how stressful it can be. Which is of course most of the reason why I was so patient. Aside from the allure of that death, of course. The amount of honesty and cooperation I got through messaging them with my issues was commendable, which is above average for a human being and an absolute anomaly by eBay standards. The only thing that I'm actually annoyed at is that a perfectly good headset is likely just going to go to waste. I'd understand the reasoning of using a 64GB model with less storage, but the one thing I don't get is why Balenciaga or Keyring went with the 128GB versions when they have no need or way to make use of that space. There's no different or more powerful chip on the 128GB version than the lowly 64GB version, so the only explanation I can come up with is that it's more expensive, so it's more better? It's that, or the 64GB versions were being bought by customers more because they were cheaper, and that left more 128GB versions for Oculus to sell in bulk to Enterprise, probably. Maybe. That's all a bit of a stretch. I'm not really basing that off of anything, and it's an equal waste either way if it was a 64GB version or a 128GB version. Despite some of my annoyances, this video isn't really meant to be taken seriously. I know, absolute shocker. Everyone makes mistakes, and if corrected honestly, like the seller did, I don't see a problem with it. And also, companies have every right to do whatever they want with what is essentially their hardware, that they are somehow not in possession of. And of course, I actually did find the concept around the Fall 21 show quite interesting myself, which is partially why I wanted to make a video about it in the first place. I just didn't get the chance to properly go into that or express it. This was just me finding an excuse to buy a headset for the sake of making a video about it and its history, but not because of Murphy's Law. And yes, if you're wondering what these controllers have been in the shot for basically the entire video, I have a Quest, but it's just another one. So after returning the Quest, I got my money back, came no problems, a few days after I posted it, and then I spent that money on another Quest, one that actually works, and was cheaper. I will be doing a video in the future experimenting with cheap routers on how to get your Quest 1 working properly with Airlink, because bandwidth requirements are actually different. And so I'll be working to find the cheapest routers that you can use to connect to your computer and stream VR games wirelessly. And with that, I've got to say thanks for watching. This will have been my first go at this kind of content, and I really want to try and get more into this kind of thing and try more stuff out. So let me know if I've even made sense in this video. So if you like this video, I would massively appreciate it if you hit that like button to let me know if you're enjoying. And if you disliked it, hit that one as well. It is massive feedback, and it's also engagement that helps me with the algorithm. And of course, if you want to stick around to see more of the bullshit that I end up coming up with, subscribe and maybe leave a comment as well. I've got a few wild things coming. Complaining is not the only skill I've got. Well, I've been Loco, thanks for listening to me complain for however long this video's been, and I'll hope to see you next time. Bye bye.